Hi guys, Brexiteer and former editor of The Sun, Kelvin MacKenzie made a plea to Nigel Farage on GB News to stand down the Reform UK party in order to help the Tories stay in power, or at least to reduce the Labour majority. Now, because this is GB News, I smell something fishy. The channel is a huge supporter of Farage, so what is going on here? Is this a ploy to boost support for Reform and Farage, who may have little or limited impact on the Tories, or is there a real attempt to get them to stand aside? Have a listen.
I'm a great fan of Nigel Farage. No Farage, no Brexit. The most powerful politician of our age, bar none. But I part company with him over Reform. Reform will devastate the Tories at the next election. He'll probably be pleased about that. I'm not. The idea, no Reform, 50-seat majority for Labour. Reform, effect, 200-seat majority for Labour. The country run by the bloody unions, and it will be absolutely shocking. If you think your hospitals are bad now, if you think your rails are bad now, wait for a 200-seat majority for Labour. Nigel, I beg you, don't put up candidates at the next election. It won't do any good. And you won't win any seats anyway.
Okay. He's correct about not winning any seats. I think even if Reform... Now, if there's a chance maybe at a by-election, they pour all the resources in. They get GB News to do a campaign on the candidate. They get their friends at Talk TV to talk about the candidate as well. There's a chance that they could win a by-election. It's remote, but there's a chance. Now, when it comes to the general election, resources are spread too thin, and there's really no chance of them winning any seats. So, Kelvin MacKenzie is correct in that respect. But I still smell a fish, a rotten fish here. Something is very fishy, because we saw before when it came to this polling that was conducted by a secret group within the Conservative Party, secret donors, along with Lord Frost, to convince the Conservative Party that they were facing a disaster at the next election, and part of that disaster is down to Reform UK. So what the Tories need to do is they need to adopt Tory Reform UK policies to avoid losing so many seats. This sounds exactly like that. But this is directed at Nigel Farage. So why is he asking Nigel Farage to stand down or putting pressure on Farage? Farage hasn't stepped in yet. Shouldn't he be directing this at Richard Tice, who's the current leader? So why is he talking about Farage if Farage hasn't entered the fray? So something is a bit dodgy about all of this. But when it comes back to the main point, if Reform do field candidates, it's going to damage the Tories, that's for sure. The amount of damage we don't know yet. We've seen a few by-elections where the damage has been quite limited. Yes, they have took a significant amount of the vote. If the Reform UK candidate had stayed out, there's a chance that the Tory MP could have held on, but that's all speculative because that didn't happen, and that was in a by-election. By-elections are very different to the general election. So I don't know. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, because I think this is all a bit dodgy. I think this is perhaps a chance, there's a chance here to boost Reform UK ahead of the next by-election, and then perhaps an idea of convincing the public that Nigel Farage is coming back, and this may convince some people who may be sitting on the fence when it comes to Reform UK to back the party. I think if Reform try to run in the general election without Farage, it's going to be difficult for them. And Farage may be more focused on the presidential election because, remember, he's a grifter and he wants attention. He gets more of it over in the US than he does in the UK. So his focus may be on Donald Trump. But Reform UK would certainly like to have him on board. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.